And welcome to the post-show podcast
Looks
with
like
Coach Peacock.
as you can tell.
I kid. This is John Mussone here with Francis Haynes, our Vibrant Aspect Media producer for not only the TV show and the podcast, but also the live streaming, which we got into more near the end of the season. But just kind of a start there. The live stream at the end of the day ended up being a huge success and wildly popular because of the quality, as you heard from some people after this week's game.
Yeah, so I mean, I hate to bash on FHSAA.
Yes.
Was that it? Yeah, I mean, like, for having people pay for it, what I was hearing is they were having to pay like $10 to watch it.
It was true,
and it was pretty much just a smartphone on top of the press box, which makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like we could be making money off
Well,
it.
it was funny because
I tried to offer it for free.
I'm looking for them. I'm thinking because we actually had the opportunity, and how it works with away games, wherever they put you, you go. It could be on top of the roof, it could be here, it could be there. In this case, we were actually inside the press box where there was a lot of other sort of media things going on, but I didn't see anybody. I'm thinking, well, maybe they're upstairs, and then I didn't see any kind of equipment like you guys have that would indicate there was a real live stream going on. But
I think someone just had their smartphone up there.
I think that's what it was.
Which,
yeah.
I mean, that's just like, that makes me feel bad, like knowing the amount of work we put into it.
And the thing is, so in the case of a game like that, it is a national. I mean, I wouldn't say that nationally you're going to watch millions of people to watch it, but if you're a high school football fan, that's a big game.
Yeah.
And in the States, it's huge. And of course, obviously, other places it's huge as well because the team we played is a nationally ranked team. They're number 9 in the country, and people are going to see what number 9 is doing or number whatever. Because some of the teams that are ahead of them don't play anymore. They've already done their Harlem Globetrotters schedule, and they went out and played all these different teams, and they don't play in playoffs. So they're very much eyes to the prize, and that was disappointing to hear that people were complaining. I had heard it before at the other games that compared to that wasn't as good. There was some issues with the stream itself where it was cutting in and out. And obviously,
there's nothing we can do about that. I mean,
no, not us. I'm talking about theirs was that way. Yeah. No.
Oh yeah. I mean, everyone's gonna have that problem. Considering of all the games we went to, only 2 people had internet.
Right.
So I mean, that makes it really difficult for anybody to stream.
But going from what we were doing and the quality of it to them having to hand out $10 and then having to miss things was bothersome to a lot of people.
Our big thing is since we're actually using the same camera we're recording this on, I mean, it's really good. You can zoom way into the field, like you would see on NFL or something. You can't do that on a smartphone, so you're basically just listening to what's going on, which is it's sad. It really is.
Right.
But we're taking steps to make it better and better in each year.
And it's funny because when we first started, everybody's a little camera shy, or even though they're not on the camera, they're just speaking, trying to find somebody who wanted to do the color commentary, maybe somebody doing the play-by-play and whatever it would be. At the end of the day, after everybody saw what was being done and maybe saw that I did it a little bit, and then of course we had Monty doing it for the most part on the color commentary, people were like, hey, if you ever need anybody, I'd like to do that, because they saw it was something that of quality, and they realized that it's something that nobody's expecting you to be the next great sportscaster, but just to be able to send information and be a part of something. People were very interested in that, so it was cool.
Who was the one person we had for the play-by-play? Was his name Josh?
Josh Grant. Josh is the teacher at the school, and
he did great for the play-by-play. I'd say that was probably the best streamed game that we had.
So Josh is a professional.
He's
the Stone Crabs PA announcer. He was in radio for a number of years. I worked with him when he was at a local radio station doing some stuff, and he's very, very good at it and very, very prepared.
Yeah, we need him on the payroll.
That's so if Josh is listening or watching, Josh, we kind of want you to come back and do that. So I think but again, that was another thing. At least for home games. Right, he wasn't sure, and then now but again, there's always people that think now we could fill in with. So the live stream looks like next year, Coach has got sort of set up some things with us to do the live stream. And we should be from game 1 through game 15, if that is the case, for all of our games, which would be fantastic. And I think administration as well has seen that was a positive.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it was really a back and forth, fight to try to get it up and up every single week.
So everything you do, and no matter what it is, especially with the football team over the years, are you sure you want to do this? Is this going to work out okay? And a lot of times it's, let me prove it to you, and then if you see what you think, and if you do it quality like you guys do, it usually ends up being something that they latch onto and like. It ends up being a positive.
So, and one thing I also want to try to keep with the live streams is I want to keep them free because, I mean, that's just, I view that as fair. It's like, we do it because we want to do it for Venice and for other people, so parents at home can see their kids play. We don't want them to have to pay $10 to see their kids play after all the equipment they have to pay for.
It's a lot. Right.
I don't think that's right.
And with that, so when as this moves forward, we will be soliciting people for advertisements and sponsorships, and that's where we can everything can kind of be able to do it that way. So the more we can get that, the more we can reach out, and somebody in Iowa can watch their grandson play, and that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool.
It's always the small companies. I mean, you're never like, I know Jenkins is one deal, but
correct.
We always have small companies that are kind of like mom and pop places, and they're just good people and they want to help out.
Community-based people. Yeah. That's what Venice is made of. So that's really great. Also, with that, you guys are also branching out into not just working with the football team, but we talked about it earlier because you and I do a little bit work with the track team,
where
we do stuff that's
Jason.
With Jason Potter, and you guys do that. But I guess I would say if anybody else is watching, you'd probably be interested in doing some other things with other teams if possible.
I mean, we have a pretty good basketball team, right?
Yeah,
I'm not a huge sports follower.
So I'll put it this way: we have a great athletic department in general, and I think so. And again, a lot of folks see that, and guess what? I guess if anybody wants to use you guys, we don't have an exclusive contract with Vibrant Aspect Media.
This right here, this is untapped potential. So
we might have started it, but none of that. There's no exclusivity to it. So, but it's fun. The track meets are fun. Now that's a lot because I know I do the announcing. And an 8-hour track meet, even for me, I like to talk.
Track days, especially when you're down there with the Steadicam for 8 hours. I mean, you go home and you need an ice pack on your bag.
And at that time of the year, it's always either could be real cold or it could be real hot, and it's like you never know what you're going to get into.
Both.
Yeah. Starts off hot, gets cold. So that could be a thing. So anybody out there looking to get these guys involved with some more sporting events, please give them a shout out. Also, give you a chance now kind of to explain a little bit more what Vibrant Aspect Media does outside of athletics. What else you guys do?
So we're mostly a real estate photography and video company. That's most of our clientele, and works great. We love doing it. I'd say we probably work with maybe 100 different realtors from all the way down to Naples up to Tampa, so this whole area.
Right.
And that's I'd say the fun part. Both me and Josh love seeing nice homes. We like photographing homes, getting people into those homes and making the job for realtors easier, so that way it's just a constant cycle. We also do weddings, wedding video. Most of our company is just video besides real estate and maybe headshots for people, but so we do wedding video. We also do sports and events. We've had a few jobs here and there. I think we did one up at UTC area for a soccer tournament.
Okay.
They were trying to market some stat sport vest.
Okay.
So we do sports like that, live events, what are they called? Infomercials, like people will do through Google or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Any small stuff in between. If someone needs a commercial made or anything along those lines.
So if you want to reach out to these guys, vibrantaspectmedia.com. Is that how to get? I make sure of that. That's where to go to. Got a lot of you folks who have done the live streaming know where to go for that.
And if they're on the live stream right now, right on our channel, we have the link to our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, so you'll be able to contact us all there.
Absolutely. Another thing, how actually this kind of all came about in a roundabout way was the Jumbotron.
Right.
Which, again,
and that was with Josh.
Yes.
He got to deal with the heat from that.
Right. And we watched Josh. And you as well doing the same thing. I always said go into MacGyver mode when you guys do this. You're never not duct taping something to the window or fixing something that got tripped up or broken or whatever the case may be. So having Kurt
something.
Betts is another unsung hero. He is MacGyver. He can do some stuff that's unbelievable with all the electronics and video stuff. But with that, an idea as to what you do, because it is a live. So I've invited folks up to the press box to be spotters for me. We've had some people that are come in from the press or whatever, and they look at it and they say, "What are these 3 screens that you're looking at?" I'm like, "This is a production. This is a TV production."
It most definitely is.
And I said, so you and from the perspective of things. I'll give a little layout. Maybe you can talk about the mechanics of it. So there's a producer. Actually, there's two people behind the scenes that are sort of moving the parts.
Yeah, so in that part, it's a two-part job. So we have Jim, who has been super awesome ever since we've been starting this. I mean, he's always on time. He's always there. He's always happy to do it. He always
very wants everything to be just right.
Yeah,
very critical of himself.
You have to be a perfectionist. But,
right.
So he runs the main computer. That is what switches feeds to commercials and everything on the Jumbotron. And then right next to him, we have Chelsea, who runs the replay. And as of this year, she's been also running the live stream. So those would be the other two screens.
And she is, if she's watching or not, but she is like the steady hand with everything. She doesn't get very.
She keeps a cool head.
It's like when somebody's like, "Where's that commercial?" Or I got to run this thing, and all of a sudden she's like, you see a hand come over, click, and he's like, "Oh, that's it, it's done." So she's been a big ass. I think she helps Jim quite a bit,
Yeah, definitely. They're both a team, and they work really great together.
Yeah, they do. They get along. I mean, they get along so well. It's great. Also, then we talk about that part of it. Then the cameras. So tell them how many the cameras you run and the cameras upstairs and all that kind of good stuff.
So at the beginning of this year, one of our cameras, unfortunately, was broken, and I don't know how that came about. So we went and got this new camera that's been working great throughout the whole year. We also have a Panasonic that is along the same lines. It's just a couple years older, and it sits up on the press box. And that's like our stable, always working feed. We have it hardwired into the computers. And then for this camera, we've been using it as the secondary sideline camera. So we'll have that on a Steadicam. A lot of engineering behind that.
And the Steadicam is the thing that looks like it's stuck to their bodies, and they can kind of move it around and walk around with it.
Yeah,
which nowadays, I look at it because I'm a football guy. I watch the NFL, watch everything else. And it wasn't that long ago. I mean, a Steadicam was something revolutionary in the NFL, where these guys were running on the field, getting close up.
Still expensive,
right? It's very expensive. But now the fact of the matter is that we have that at our high school. Is cool. And I always talk about high school football games are it's pure Americana. Everybody's there. They're rooting on the home team. In Venice, you got the sunset coming over the building. You got the American flag going. And then you got the Steadicam where you're getting these unbelievably cool shots superimposed over a flag
and coin toss and all that stuff.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And I talk to a lot of people because I, being the announcer, I'm a little bit part of the show, so they're always saying like that was great or this was great. Not just the game, but the production side of things. It's I watch other places where there's jumbotrons where there's not a lot of them, but the stuff that we're doing at a smaller scale is University of Florida level. I go, I see the stuff that they do, and it's similar to it. No doubt about it.
And there has to be motivation behind it. I think I'd seen 2 jumbotrons at other schools we went to.
Manatee is one for sure.
They got nice jumbotrons, and they have so much potential there, even having internet, but they have no video crew.
Right.
So I mean, there's 2 sides to both of that to make it work.
All they're doing is playing commercials.
Yeah, which I mean, really,
and putting a score up there. Yeah. You want to do, and exactly, and I think. That comes to like saying what you're capable of, what you can do, and a little bit. We got to give Coach Peacock a lot of credit for some of the things he does. Have the vision to kind of push those buttons. There'd be plenty of coaches that say, I don't want anything to do with this. I got enough to deal with 110 kids in my program and trying to win a game on Friday night, let alone having to worry about the cameras not working on the jumbotron. But he's made it a priority, and I think that helps out quite a bit.
That's another big reason we were really worried 2 years ago, and we thought he'd be out of the football. We were like, what if the new coach doesn't want a video crew? What if they don't care about this stuff and doesn't have the vision like him?
Right.
So.
No, he doesn't. He's always been, again, that's one of the things he looks at it. We just got done with the TV show, and he looks at it and says he wants to be, a national power. And I think that doesn't come with, that is just the idea of on the football field. He looks at it from the perspective of everything. When you come to Venice, and going with having a show that like this, like we do beforehand, doing a podcast like we did in the past, and redoing it again, advertising the way we do, want to do year-round stuff. That's what lends itself to being that level of thought of at that level, especially locally. I mean, people look at Venice and are like, what the heck are they doing? But again, it goes to prove that we're working together with a lot of very good, smart people like yourself and Josh, and being able to get this stuff done.
As far as back to the cameras, what I'm looking forward to for next year, because right now we have 2 cameras, and when I was tinkering with the computer last, I found we have a spot for another 2 cameras.
Oh, fantastic.
So what I want to do is get a third camera down by the end zone, but raise it up so you have that third nice angle seeing down the field of what's going on.
Right.
And that way we have variety. We have stuff to pick from, and those will be 2 fail-safe cameras that are just hardwired. 'Cause we had a lot of problems with the Steadicam being wireless, and it's always a problem camera, so I don't like relying on that as much. But hopefully by next year, if everything goes right with our sponsors, and I'll probably be out there making some custom stuff, but we'll have a third camera for next year, and I mean, every year it's just going to keep looking more and more like NFL. So.
And that Jumbotron, also, we talked about the track meet, that's a huge thing, because at a track meet, there's a lot of moving parts. The fact that they can watch the meet or somewhat on the Jumbotron as things are moving along, or certain things, having the Jumbotron be able to have a feed from the timers where they can put the results on the board as well. And that's huge, because what do you say, who came in first or second, and then you actually can look at it, and it comes up almost like as the results are coming up, they come up on the Jumbotron, which is a fantastic situation. And then of course the other part of it, which is a big deal, is graduation.
Yeah, graduation. I mean, this was my past year. This last graduation was the first year I did graduation all on my own, aside from having gym on the computer, but like me actually running it. And it's a lot of fun. After I got over the first 5-10 minutes of like,
angst.
Gosh, this is a big event, first time doing it. After that, it was just fun. Like, I felt very much in control there with the way graduation is set up. Everything's very thorough.
Yeah, orderly.
Yeah.
There's no like play over here. They're coming down the where they need to be, and then the speakers are speaking.
We take that, turn it into a graduation DVD, and it's all good to go.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And again, that's the thing. So beyond just the community for football, it's every student now who gets the opportunity to be a part of what this whole media idea is coming apart. Everybody is involved in it in some way.
And this coming up graduation, I'm pretty sure what I'm going to be doing is actually live streaming just when graduation happens. So it's not like how our football games are; they're not going to stay live.
Right.
Just right after the live stream, that's it.
Right.
So that way people away can watch the whole thing live. And aside from that, we'll also still offer the DVD and everything afterwards.
But that's nice, because that's another thing you said. If there's folks wanting to watch their grandchildren or their nieces or their nephews, I should say, play football, now they can watch their nieces and nephews can graduate and see something that is it's a special moment for everybody to do that kind of stuff, and be able to have access to is great.
If we live stream it, it's free. They have their chance to watch it. If not, they can always get the DVD and everything after. But I want to be fair with it. I want to give people that chance, because I went to Venice, and these are all things I wish we had.
Well, listen, I look for I'm the guy looking for an old photo of myself in high school. Other than the yearbook, I don't know where half that stuff went. But that's to actually have something that's got the whole thing right there, and kind of get a feel for things. It may not seem as relevant a year from now, but wait till you're 10, 15 years from now. You're like, wait a second, I got some old videos of myself, and I can go look at it, which is kind of cool. Anything else you can think that's going on that you're looking to expand or do anything?
I mean, as far as Venice goes, for that third camera, that is like my main goal for next year. The live stream, we have about as down pat as we can, unless Jenkins or the school themselves wants to give us internet. There's nothing much we can do to make the live stream better. But
and then as we cut out for the TV show, we were thanking a lot of folks administratively and people that are people around with us. We talked about your crew, but we also got to thank like for this thing, Tommy and his crew here again, Off the Wagon.
They like
super nice.
By far the best.
Yeah,
I mean, best filming situation that we have had. So.
And and it's like you come every week. You're a regular. I imagine they're looking for us next week, saying, where are those guys?
Right.
I might just come in and see if I get a free meal. No, I'm like, but I mean, they're cool about it. And again, I know you've had some people along the way with a live stream, done some sponsoring with you. Maybe you want to shout out a few people.
Let me see if I can think of them off the top of my head. This was all for the playoffs. They really helped us out to where we weren't going in the negative.
Yeah.
We had Emery Auto Diesel. They're in Englewood. Really cool people. My dad's done a lot of work with them for diesel mechanics and stuff like that. His wife, Wellbaum Attorney.
Yep.
They both, as a pair, sponsored us. We also had Dr. Ehrlich and Salapudi. They sponsored us, and they're really cool. I actually used to have braces, and that's where I went. So
I think everybody went there. I think you go to Venice High School, you have to go through their office.
Yeah, they're really good people. And back in the day, I used to be into extreme biking, and actually knocked out one of my teeth.
So
and
they helped you out.
Dr. Salapudi put it back
see?
in. So
Now you can be on camera with a full smile. You're good to go.
So there was them. My dad actually ended up sponsoring it last minute. He has Tri-County Land Development.
Okay.
He does site work, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So that was a very big help. He actually helped the most because he didn't want me to be paying to live stream. So, and I think there was one other. I can't remember though.
Well, everybody, whoever was involved, we do appreciate it because there was a lot of last minute stuff. We didn't know where
Chick-fil-A sponsored the players.
Okay.
But that was more of a food situation.
Sure.
But, yeah,
it's one of those things that because leading up to it, the live stream in particular, we were trying to figure out if we could do it because of the permission situation.
Yeah.
Now, this is all new ground. So next year, as we do these things, I think we'll be much more on top of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because
again, a raffle bucket before, so we got all the money.
Hey, we're ready to go with all this stuff. But that was another interesting thing because again, as you do this stuff, you don't know. Even when we went down to Palm Beach Lakes, it was a whole new situation.
Yeah.
What size is the press box? Where are we going to sit and everything else? And it sometimes it's not home territory. You don't have. We complain about our press box.
It's a lot of problem solving.
Some of the other ones are like, whoa! I didn't know. I got closets bigger than some of those press boxes, and so it can be difficult in having to kind of break things on the fly. And that's another thing. Kudos to you guys is that you had all this. You had a quality live stream in a rainstorm or somewhat of a rainstorm, in a whole new press box in a very contained area, and put out a live stream that superseded what they were doing otherwise, and that means a lot. I mean, I know the cameras are everything, but it takes a lot to get that done. And yes, it did a fantastic job. So I think by next year,
it's just going to keep getting better.
I can't imagine it would be any more adversity than that situation. I mean, it could be. We never know. But that was a rough one. That was a rough one to
We
launch
almost lost
off
our
of.
other camera at the home game when we had a bad storm come in and just knocked over everything.
Well, another thing, hopefully, now we don't like it either. Football teams don't like the weather, but you guys hate it more than probably we do because
because
that's no good.
Yeah, one raindrop will cost you $1,000 or so.
Well, funny little story. We're down at the Aquinas game, and there was a guy from Fox, Florida, and they do a high school football show, and he was down videotaping the game for a highlight package or whatever he was doing. And I just rolled up on him and said, hey, we started talking a little bit. And he's looking around, he's like, man, I hope it doesn't rain tonight. He said, I didn't bring my cover for the camera because if they said 0% chance, he had told me, he said 2 weeks earlier or whatever, that he had the camera, and again, he wasn't where he needed to be to get any cover, and he knew that camera was $50,000.
Oh yeah, they get up there.
He said other than throwing his body on top of the camera to protect it, he finally he saw the rain coming, he could feel it coming or whatever, and he said it was a space just big enough for either him or the camera. And he put the camera there, and he stood in the rain. I said, listen, I can dry up.
Yeah.
That thing can't. You know. And so definitely understand based on his perspective what that's all about.
A big thing for ours, I mean, if it was just as simple as us being out there with a camera, clicking record, it'd be simple to get a camera cover. Our problem is we have probably 3 or 4 different adapters that hang off the camera, and they're all in different places, and they can't get wet. They don't sell covers for those, so it's just kind of, you're looking for the best situation.
Yeah, because sports is a different situation. If it was if it was raining, you go inside. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
When football, you're doing it.
And when it's live, you can't just throw a bag over the camera. You know it's live.
Not going to happen. But I will say that one of the things we are looking into as not only a Vibrant Aspect Media thing, but also for our Venice High School football thing, is maybe eventually getting some sort of a retractable cover over our top of our press box.
Cover would be very nice.
That's what I was saying. So that would be if anybody's out there that's listening who can do canvas or some sort of thing that would be able to cover the entirety of our top of our press box that can be retracted and tied up or whatever, we're looking for something like that because we and again, it not only helps you guys, it helps Wayne Robertson, who's doing our video for our football team,
and then
away coaches as well. It helps them as well because they're up there, and because there's really not a lot of room. I can say there's room, but there's no privacy. So you don't want to have 2 sets of coaches in the same room yelling about each other's plays, and it doesn't make any sense. So we have to kind of separate ourselves. So that'll help out a lot of folks. So if anybody's out there with that, we'll be looking for you. But if you see us now and you want to help, vibrantaspectmedia.com. hit them up and we'll go from there. So.
Yeah, and we'll probably direct them right to the school board to deal with that because I imagine you need permits and everything.
Well, we'll have to figure it all out, but now's the time to start because it might take that long to get it done.
Definitely.
So we have to do that for sure. All right, I think we're probably at our mark here.
So I guess we were talking about doing a podcast once a month from now on.
So those are the things we're talking about too. So moving forward, there's going to be some things with not only with football, with you guys as well, that we may continue to do, and Coach is very excited about it, is continuing on and potentially chronicling our team as the off season moves forward. It's depending on how the timing of things, it could be every other week, every couple of weeks, or maybe once a month. But trying to keep not just the focus on the field stuff, which is obviously in a sort of a window, but as what goes on for the football team year round. Because I think one of the things that him and I always talk about, Coach Peacock and I should say, talk about is what it takes to be successful in the fall. It starts in January, it goes through this kind of stuff and all those different things, and chronicling that and how we're progressing and whatnot. And I think that's kind of a cool way to keep everybody involved. Having you guys to be involved is fantastic, and then keeping sponsors and other people involved as well, which I think is how most things operate. It's nowadays, I don't care if it's a high school sports or whatever else it is, it tends to be a 12-month a year, kind of process. And I think to do that and keep this idea of chronicling all this stuff is probably a pretty cool idea. So I'm sure you'll see something posted on the high school or the football team website, and probably on your website as well.
Yeah, anytime we know for certain we have a date, we'll put it up there on the page, and people can come and check it out whenever we do it. Hopefully it'll still be here. I like filming here, but I mean, if we have to jump around different places.
We might just do some stuff to kind of give some other folks a little bit, because we talked about all the folks that do everything for us, in-game, pre-game, post-game, restaurants and different places that do different things that maybe don't get the pop, but they do. We appreciate that. We've got like we mentioned before, the Chick-fil-A's, the Obies, the Lunas, all the restaurants that give us pre-game team meals and all that stuff. So yeah, it would be nice to maybe have a taste of Venice kind of feel to it and go around and see some things. So that would be kind of neat as well. So we'll look forward to that moving forward, and I think that'll and again, in and amongst that stuff, now you have more time, and you might be able to highlight a senior player to come by and do different things like that, and be a little more free form with the podcast. So there's not a hard 30 minutes to do this, or we might be able to do it as extended, or how everything is going. We can do all that.
We'll
get
some
stuff.
more mics so we can have more than two people.
We could have a round table. We could bring all kinds of people in. There's plenty of people who would probably want to have a little shout out opportunity. So we'll see how that works, and once we get the everything all the kinks worked out, we'll figure out we'll be putting it out there for consumption, so everybody can come and take a look at it. So with that, again, Francis, thank you, Josh, for everything you guys do all year. It's a cool opportunity to do this stuff. I don't know how many other places are doing, or schools are doing what we do.
Not many.
Yeah, and so it's kind of neat that we get to do this and reach out to our like this podcast in particular. Just a branch off idea, but I know that there are people who like to watch these things, and they kind of get a view of what we do, a little more relaxed atmosphere, and we're able to kind of talk about some things that maybe wouldn't be something we would talk about normally. Yeah. So this is kind of a cool deal for sure. So again, thank you to you guys. Thank you to all of our sponsors on the podcast, on the TV show. Thank you, administration, like we talked about earlier, everything you guys do for us. Always think highly of you guys and appreciate all that stuff. And once again, thanks to Off the Wagon, especially for what they do, and Jenkins Chevrolet as well for what they do. With that,
guess that's
we'll close down the post-game podcast, and hopefully we'll be seeing you in a few weeks with the off-season podcast. So we'll have. If I don't have a better name by then, well, somebody will.
I might just keep the same name but label it off-season, on-season. That sounds good.
Could be good. All right, with that, see you guys. Have a great holiday also coming up here, and be safe. And we'll see you soon on the off-season podcast. Take care.